Every country has stories of places where the energy is wrong, where tragedy clings to the walls like ivy. This is my story. I bought a courtyard house in China. It was in a cursed alley. Death here wasn't an event, it was a pattern of lives cut short, mysterious, violent, and far too soon. It all began in Baoding. I needed a change after leaving my job. I found a sprawling old courtyard online. It was historic. It was cheap, dangerously cheap. The agent promised it was lucky, but a voice in my head whispered, "What's wrong with it?" I moved in. I decided to build a bathroom. I pointed to a dark, low shed in the corner. "Tear that down," I said. That's when the first sign came. Local foremen agreed on the phone, but when I gave them the address, they went silent. One even blocked my number. Finally, I hired two old laborers. They came with a simple-minded man. He just smiled and sang. They insisted on ancient rituals. They killed a red rooster for the earth god. Only then would they break ground. That night, over rice wine, they told me about my neighbors. They spoke of a butcher who hung himself, a family wiped out by cancer, and two brothers. They crawled into a haystack to play, they fell asleep, and they suffocated. Their spirits never left. I laughed at my fear. It was just a moth at the window. I climbed up and stuffed the hole with newspaper. Silence. I sighed with relief. Then I heard it, in the dead quiet of the night, a child's giggle, right outside my window. My blood ran cold. I slowly turned my head. There, pressed against the glass, were two faces, one high, one low. I couldn't see their features, just the impression of them. And then I remembered the worker's words to the empty corner. "You two, come and play." Terrified, I did what they suggested. I went to the local folk temple. I bought spirit money from a shady man. I burned it in the corner where the shed once stood, an offering. That night I dreamed of them, the two children. At first, they were happy with the money. Then they became furious. They threw the money on the ground. They yelled at me. I woke up in a cold sweat, and on the floor around my bed were the burnt spirit notes. They had given them back. Weeks later, officials arrived, men with trucks and quiet authority. They weren't there for ghosts. They went to the dry riverbed. And they dug. Deep. What they pulled out was something else. A sinister statue, part turtle, part tiger, and clutched in its mouth were two small figures. After they took the statue, a miracle happened. The river began to flow again. The energy shifted. The two boys never came back. The billionaire in the alley vanished. Soon the entire area was designated for a new future. It was as if the land had been healed. Sometimes the world is stranger than any story. Sometimes a ghost story isn't about ghosts. It's about the land we live on, the history buried beneath our feet. This was my lesson from the haunted courtyard.